which is doing a transaction, just like ordering food at a restaurant. You order your food, the waitress writes it down on a piece of paper, which is a bill of lading, takes it back, brings out your food, gives you a receipt. If your MasterCard, you sign it. If it's cash, you take it up to the cash register. You do banking. She gives you a receipt, you give her money, you pay for your cargo. You go to the court, you hand her the vessel, you see a space. The vessel comes to the port of the court. The vessel gets docked. Therefore, we put a docket number on it, docking the vessel. You pay $350 docking fee, and now you have a document. DOC, DOC, DOC. You see, we're using the terminology and bringing things into first-person knowledge now, so you're aware of what's happening. When the document comes to the port of the court, the document has a stamp on it. The stamp is autographed by the postmaster delivering the vessel to the port of the court, who also puts a stamp on and signs it. Therefore, we have postmaster to postmaster docking a vessel. The vessel is an independent. Now, this is something some of you know or don't know. All judges are actors. They do not become a judge until they autograph this document. If they autograph the stamp of this document, then they are the judge on the case. A judge who does not sign this document is not a judge. When you walk into the courtroom, the judge is up there and says, "Did you sign the paper?" Judge says, "No." That's not the judge. That's an actor. Who did sign your paper? The clerk of the court did. She's the judge. So you can say, "Judge, you're not on my plane. Get out of my courtroom." Now, when I walk into a courtroom, I walk in there and it says, "Judge, you're excused." I'm going like, this is a state court. I'm in charge. I said, "Bailiff, I deputize you as my tip staff. Arrest the judge for trespassing in my courtroom. I have a federal oath. I have a federal oath of office. I have it in my possession. I've signed the stamp. I'm on a federal plane. That's a federal flag. This is a federal court. We're here for money. This document says there's money on it. This stamp is $1 stamp on it. This is postal money. We're in a postal vessel in dry dock under a postal stamp. This is a federal flag." I says, "This vessel has jurisdiction and I have an oath of office that matches this contract. I am the only standing federal judge in this courtroom. Arrest that man as an imposter." That judge is usually running out the door as fast as he can get before the bailiff can get a hold of him. Then I turn and I says, I've syntaxed the district attorney's paperwork here, and now I'm prosecuting the district attorney for a $25 million fine and 30 years in prison for false and misleading statements to damage a citizen. And about that time, he's running out the door. And if he's standing his ground, then I got the bailiff arresting him. And if you've been in court and you've seen this happen and that, you're going like, never seen that before. The other attorneys do the same thing. When I was in Australia, we did this. And a district attorney, my client was a dwarf, stood 3 feet 9 inches tall. And when she walked in there, everybody kind of got out of her way. And I was there, and the judge goes, "Are you a representative?" And he says, "No, sir, I'm a claimant." "Well, who's that?" And he says, "She owns the property. I'm a claimant on her property." "Well, you're not on title." I syntaxed the mortgage contract for New South Wales. I says, "It's false and misleading." I says, "Because I syntaxed, I'm a claimant on the document for false and misleading statements. I syntaxed the prosecuting attorneys who wants to foreclose her property. This man has committed a felony against this court. He's got a second grade reading level. Doesn't have an oath of office. He's not a barrister. I don't know what he is, but he's got a wig on. He looks like a clown, personally." And this guy is like, "How can you talk to me like that?" I says, "Because I'm a federal judge in New South Wales, and I have a federal oath, and we're in a state court, mind you." And I says, "And as a state, it says you may be a state judge, but you're not on our plane, therefore you've not come to court. Clerk of the courts," I says, "I hereby deputize you as my clerk." I says, "Bailiff," I says, "you're now my tip staff." I says, "This is a federal court. Arrest this person for treason against the people. Arrest the judge for impersonation." And the judge stands up and goes, "We're going to continue this. And for another 45 days, I said, you can't continue anything. I already arrested you guys. You're out of the picture. And this guy turns to these 12 barristers sitting behind him and he goes like, this guy just handed my head to me in a basket. He goes, do something. And they all took their coats and pulled them over their heads and they're all talking through their coats going, he's your problem. When you file a lawsuit, this is just a copy of one of my oaths. What I do is, we have a stamp on one side because it has value. We have a flag making it federal. And this is an authentic oath, and I think this one is this is my Hawaiian oath of office. And this makes me a federal judge in Hawaii. And when you put value on the front, you have to endorse the top of the back, just like you endorse the top of your checks at the bank. Now, the reason, what is an endorsement? Okay, we write. Now, if this was 75 feet long, we'd call this, as a single document, we'd be bonded. We roll it all up, called a scroll. And so now that it's been rolled up, we put the wax seal on here, going all the way back 6,700 years, and the king would then use the ring to put the seal on. And the ring, the seal, was the same as an autograph. And when you unwrap it, the seal is at the top of the back of the value. Therefore, you have an endorsement. That's been practiced for 6,700 years without fail. So therefore, it's legitimate. And question?
How do you sign your name?
It's like that.
Just like
No, I don't sign it. This is called an autograph. Autograph. The colon is for the David-Wynn of the Miller family. My degree sign is because I'm a 92nd degree Mason. The Masons all over the world have said the Masonry stops at 34 degrees. How can you be a 92nd? Well, the different cities I traveled to, and I've been in over 1,200 of them, have challenged me, have come to meetings, have gone to lodges, and when the Masons and I get together, they bring their books. I have my books. I have the Legenda, 1859, signed by me in 1859. And that's another story you don't know about. Yeah, your question?
You mentioned the continuance of 45 days that the judge wanted to do, and it reminded me of a question that I have. I just happened to be in the Kosciuszko County Court one day as a just spectator. And it was a different setting. There was a couple of attorneys on this side, or one attorney on this side, and then their high-powered clients. And then there was an attorney on this side, and another guy in a suit and tie. And for some reason, when the judge walked in, they were all prepared to rise. He goes, "No, just stay seated."
Did he have his robe on?
Yes.
Okay. By the way, the robe means I'm mourning justice.
What does it mean?
He's in mourning for justice, because justice is dead.
In this conversation, you could kind of tell they all did just on this inside track. And the one attorney asked for a 90-day continuance.
45 and 45 is 90.
And then the judge goes, "Well, if I did as I wanted to, I would continue it for 122 days. And they all laughed, every one of them.
Laughed?
Yeah, it was like this big chuckle, they all knew what he meant by it, except for me. I didn't know what was going on. That's my question. This was on September 6th. The 122 days come, if I count all the days, comes out to January 6th, 2013.
Okay, you got 45 days, trust law, offer, 45-day answer. The state court? State court. Then you've got, that's 90. If you add 45 to that, you get 135. So that doesn't work. So what they're doing is, there's a 10-day offer, a 10-day answer, a 20-day answer, and a 10-day response. That gives you 120, and then you've got your 3-day rescission law. That would make it 123 days, which would expire. So he had to make it at 122 days. So he was under the 1-day limit under the rescissions law, otherwise he'd be in violation of notice. This is an offer, this is an acceptance. These are 245-day trust running. This is a vacated contract on its face.
Okay, then
It's not legal.
later in the conversation, you lightly mentioned it again, and you say because then it would be under the new Judge Reed.
Okay, what you have here is this. You have a, everybody okay with this, or do you want to get into more of this?
I
Huh?
had one more question. With the colons in front of the name,
Oh, that's a prepositional phrase for the David
right?
hyphen Wynn, full colon, which means for the David Wynn of the Miller family.
If you don't have the colon in front and you do it like David dash Wynn.
This is a pronoun in front. If you leave out the colon, this is a pronoun of the Miller, which means this is a nothing of the Miller family. So therefore, it's a mistake. So you got to put it in there.
Okay.
There's 528 symbols in the under Microsoft. If you get in your computer, you can look them all up and pull them up on the screen. It's probably a good 3-year study on symbols if you want to get into it. We use like the address. Like my address in Milwaukee. This is a tilde, hyphen, tilde, hyphen, and then Milwaukee. This is a tilde. Milwaukee is not the name, it's a location. Wisconsin, it's a location. And you put tildes. Tilde means location. Anybody want to correspond with me and by letter or mail me things? That's where you send it. David Wynn Miller, 5166 North 63rd Street, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, 53218. That's my address.
What would happen if you put a hyphen between the tilde and Milwaukee? Would that be wrong?
No, you don't, not here. When you start, you just use your tilde. Now here would be,
Would that be right?
this is a comma, hyphen, tilde. Microsoft will also give you, will say this is correct. If you drop off the hyphen, you're going to get an underlining, which means you're using the wrong symbolizations. So you got to have a comma. Now, when you write the state, this is a letter, this is a number. These are two different entities. You don't, even though this might be a WIP or WI dot for postal codes, whenever you go from a word to a number, like this here, you don't need the, this actually has have to have a hyphen here too. But from the number to the street, you can use the hyphen.
Is it incorrect if you put a tilde after the hyphen there between street and the hyphen?
You can put a tilde here or not put a tilde here, it's irrelevant. But
I've
it's,
seen that.
you'll get a flag on it from the computer if it's wrong.
Okay.
Yeah, Microsoft took, Bill Gates back in 1995 when I went public, anybody using prepositional phrases, even writing a single legal sentence from my book on the internet would kill your computer. And for about 18 months, they were frying computers left and right. But There was so few people back in 1995. It was only in a few hundred people that were actually involved. And then so I went to Seattle, Washington. I met with Bill Gates, and I said, listen, you got 47 million people on your website, and your contract for Microsoft is a complete adverb-verb lie. Feeling lucky today under Title 15, Section 1692E, under false and misleading statements for a $25 million fine per person. Put the antivirus in there and take it out. So a couple days later, no more problems. So then computers upgraded, right? People that had the old computers, and I've got a couple of the old ones from 1995, where the antivirus never went in. It's still trapped in the hard drive. If you plug it into a new computer, it'll kill it. It'll actually start on fire. I'm serious. And some of the old computer hackers go, that can't happen. So they fried up 2 computers going, we ain't going to take our new one and cook it. But there's a few of the old dinosaurs still laying around with that old virus, that old secret virus laying in it. But nobody uses 95 computers anymore. I got the old 86 processor yet, someplace in my basement.
So I got a question.
Okay, shoot.
What does that do for us if we autograph our name that way?
Well, as soon as you autograph your name in that manner, it says that you've been exposed to this technology. All the judges know, all the judges in the United States, 11,000, both state and federal, have been trained in this technology for 17 years. I've been teaching at Scottsdale, Arizona since 1995, and Reno, Nevada at the Judge Institutes, through both video and my program, both on the internet and in the books. They're made aware. Every year we pass out the books to the judges here in New Zealand, Australia, England, United Nations. They get copies of my books so they can stay up to speed on what's happening. Federal government, the FBI's got a huge file on me. My passport has about 40 pages of credentials on it for all the treaties I have worldwide with all the different countries, banking, ambassadorships, lawsuits. And usually when I go through customs, it's going in and out of countries. I got to book like 4 hours between flights because it takes 2 to 3 hours for the immigrations people to go through my files before they allow me to pass through. It's getting more and more difficult to move around. I usually call them ahead of time so they can run my passport and pull the stuff up, so when I get there they are fully aware of why I'm there and what I'm doing in the different countries I go to. So, questions?
So if I have been using my autograph without the colon in front in my court papers, and I start using it, will the judge start listening to me?
Yeah. Yeah. See, if I wrote my name in cursive, like that, the word cursive, the word curse, to talk to dead people. And this is an adjective pronoun. This is also classified as italic, which means it's removed from the paper, so it's blank.
So when I autograph my paper, I should print it like you have done?
Correct, you do it like this.
Okay, so I
But
can...
if you're not a Mason, don't put the degree sign on there. I do that, but they're fully aware of that.
So my autograph should be printed, upper lowercase.
Everybody should be printing. This was taught to you. When I was a kid in school, they cracked my knuckles with rulers because I would write what I would write correct. They made it mandatory that everybody use cursive because they wanted you to disqualify your contract by using cursive, by dead language. And then they've got this one. Everybody know that little one? This is an adverb. This is a verb. I swear to talk to dead people in the future tense to make fiction, the being an adverb with no contract of an opinion, so as an adverb to make an allusion, me as a adverb, feel like an adverb today, folks? To modify the verb God, which is incorrect. Now, when, for those, I don't know how many of you know about the 1996 seminar I did in Indianapolis, Indiana for 47 ministers. Broke my own rules. Velma. All right, let's shut my own phone down here. Vibrate only. Okay. In June of 1996, I did a seminar in Indianapolis, Indiana for 47 ministers from 16 different religions. We had Muslims, Jews, Christians, Hindus, Buddhists. I mean, you talk about a room full of people. And I was to do a 12-hour seminar in front of all these ministers on syntaxing all their different Bibles and conduct this thing for 12 hours and keep peace at the same time. And that's somewhat of a, everybody that looked at that said, "What, are you crazy? That's like walking into a lion's den with steaks hanging all over you." So I went ahead and I walked into the room, and we had a Jew, a Christian, and a Muslim sitting next to each other. And within 5 minutes, the three of them talking back and forth were trying to pull the chairs out of the floor and kill each other with them. I mean, they actually had the chairs up and they were ready to hit each other. I go, wait a minute, you guys are men of God, right? You're supposed to be compassionate people. I says, let me ask you a question before you kill each other. Does 3 plus 3 equal 6? And I want to show of hands, and all 47 hands went up. It says, hey, Mr. Jew, why didn't you kill the Christian and the Muslim because 3 plus 3 equals 6? He goes, well, that's a math problem. He says, no one ever went to war over a math problem. I says, you guys understand that. I says, do you know that every single one of you in this room put an adverb in front of the word God? And everyone all got to think, what does it say? The church of God. Adverb, verb, adverb, verb. The house of God. Church of Christ. Church is a pronoun. It's an adverb making Christ a verb. It says, every condition that you have said here, you've put an adverb in front of your belief. And just like that, everyone in the room goes, well, God's not a verb. He's a fact. Just what'd you all put it down in writing for? I mean, you put your signs up in front of well, that's what the lawyers told us to do when they wrote the signs. I says, yeah, lawyers are liars. So are attorneys. I says, the whole thing is to keep you kept in the world of fiction. Now, where did laws come from? Every law in the world came from the religions. The religion came first in the community, in the ministers, the bishops, the cardinals. Anybody who was a church leader, a religious leader,